like to call the meeting to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Madam Deputy Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Certainly. Supervisor Moore.
Here.
Councilwoman McNamara.
Here.
Councilman Iacilli.
Here.
Councilman Pell.
Here today.
Councilman Martell.
Here.
Thank you. All right, let's get started with the review of the draft agenda for the August 12th Town Board meeting. There's going to be, let's see, 6 public hearings. The first will be for to consider establishing a park district known as the East Quogue Park District in the hamlet of East Quogue. The second is a public hearing to consider the use of community housing funds for the acquisition of 3 lots located at 47 Flanders Road, Riverside, for affordable apartment units. The third public hearing will be to consider the acquisition of an historic preservation and conservation easement on property located at 149 South Country Road in the hamlet of Remsenburg-Spionk, and to amend the Community Preservation Project Plan and the CPF Management and Stewardship Plan to include the property. And just note that there was an issue with the notice, and so we're going to just open and close the public hearing and renotice it. And the renotice is on page 57. Public hearing to consider the historic landmark designation of the site recognized as the Methodist Point Historical Site located at 1040 Flanders Road in Flanders. The 5th public hearing is to consider the enactment of Chapter 260, the planting of shrubs and trees along property lines, a regulation of encroachment. And the 6th public hearing is to consider the Town of Southampton Highway Department water quality improvement projects for the 2025 Community Preservation Fund 20% water quality improvement project funding. All right, so let's go ahead with the resolutions. Town Board Resolution ID number 50592, co-sponsored by the entire board, to authorize the funding allocation of the Town of Southampton Highway Department water quality improvement projects for 2025 Community Preservation Fund 20% water quality improvement project funding. Of course, it's contingent on the results of the public hearing. Town Board Resolution ID number 50578, co-sponsored by Councilwoman McNamara, to authorize plumbing, repairs, and service from Macaron Plumbing, Inc., using the Suffolk County contract.
Town Board Resolution ID 50553, co-sponsored with Councilman Iacilli, authorized purchase of an active tethered drone from Safeware Inc. using Sourcewell contract.
Town Board Resolution 50505, co-sponsored with Councilwoman McNamara, authorized purchase of groundkeeping, repair, parts, and service and accessory used in Suffolk County contracts from Northeast Equipment Inc., Trice Inc., All Equipment Corp., and Malvese Equipment Company Inc., Store Tractor, and 795 Motorsport LLC.
Town Board Resolution 50572, co-sponsored with Councilman Martell, authorized the supervisor to sign a contract extension with Community Development Corporation of Long Island.
Town Board Resolution ID number 50536, to authorize the supervisor to sign any and all documents for the New York Building Recreational Infrastructure for Communities, Kids, and Seniors, the New York Bricks grant program for the West Hampton Activity Center. That is a new grant from the state. So fingers crossed.
Town Board Resolution ID 50544, co-sponsored with Council members Iacilli and Martell, authorized supervisor to sign contract with Lero Engineers, Inc. for professional services related to asbestos remediation design services at 59 Montauk Highway, West Hampton.
Town Board Resolution ID number 50597, co-sponsored by Councilwoman McNamara, to authorize the supervisor to sign DPP with Toshiba America Business Solutions, Inc. for copy machine for police dispatch from the Eastern Suffolk BOCES contract. Town Board Resolution ID number 50538, to authorize the MHC Software Holdings and subsidiaries renewal to provide maintenance and support for digital documentary delivery. Town Board Resolution ID number 50539 to authorize the supervisor to approve a 2025 renewal with Construent LLC for their ProcureWare cloud-hosted software solution to manage the town's operations for bidding and contracts. Town Board Resolution ID number 50465 to authorize the supervisor to execute a contract with Coastal Science and Engineering for post-project monitoring services for the Bridgehampton Beach Erosion Control District Large-Scale Beach Nourishment Program. Town Board Resolution ID number 50466 to authorize the supervisor to execute a contract with Coastal Science and Engineering for post-project monitoring services for the Sagaponack Beach Erosion Control District Large-Scale Beach Nourishment Project. Town Board Resolution ID number 50535 to authorize the supervisor to execute a no-cost contract extension with AVA Design, Inc. for the architectural design, engineer services, as well as construction management of the ambulance facility at 1256 North Sea Road in Southampton. I did have a question about that, but I thought that project was completed, but I can check with Nick
Okay.
between now and the next meeting.
He's probably watching. He'll
Okay.
let us know.
Town
I can
Board
check.
Resolution ID number 50537 to authorize the supervisor to execute an agreement with Unis Solutions, Inc. for a software upgrade. And Town Board Resolution ID number 50540, co-sponsored by Councilwoman McNamara, to authorize the supervisor to sign a consultant agreement with Susan Western to assist the Southampton Town Police Department with the development of Southampton Town Police Department directives and implementation into the Lexipol software system. That's the accreditation software.
Town Board Resolution ID 50548, co-sponsored with the entire board, authorize the supervisor to sign an agreement with Hampton's Production House LLC for the preparation of a video highlighting the accomplishments of the Community Preservation Program. Town Board Resolution ID 50577, co-sponsored with Councilwoman McNamara, authorize the supervisor to sign the 2025 Friends of the Big Duck Incorporated Community Program Grant.
Town Board Resolution ID number 50556 to award and authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with Best Restoration Services, Inc. for a town hall masonry restoration. Town Board Resolution ID number 50552, co-sponsored by the entire board, to award and authorize the supervisor to sign a contract for Fortunato Sons Contracting, Inc. for the Southampton Animal Shelter kennel replacement.
Town Board Resolution 50473, award authorized supervisor to execute a contract with Expert Service for Mill Creek Boat Ramp.
Maybe added, Deputy. Thank you.
Town Board Resolution ID number 50588 to authorize arbitrage payment to the U.S. Treasury. Town Board Resolution ID number 50591 to adopt the 2026 budget process schedule. And I'm going to just speak with Kathleen Murray just to ask about adding a couple of, making the two work sessions on the 9th and the 16th of October as special meetings to give the board the opportunity to make any changes that they would like to the budget so that we can have those discussions and the board's not rushed, and gives the department heads an opportunity to come in as well. So that slight change might be in the next week. Town Board Resolution ID number 50589 to amend the 2025-2029 capital budget for animal shelter flooring and kennels project.
Deputy Clerk, if I could be added to that? Thank you.
If I could be added as well, please.
Myself too, please, Kim.
Just wanted to ask Nick about the HVAC for the central garage too. That's another question I had, just to make sure that that's already done and not being pulled. Okay, And then, let's see, Town Board Resolution ID number 50590 to amend the 2025-2029 capital budget for CPF project Harbor House Sewer System.
Town Board Resolution 50457, co-sponsored with councilpersons Martell and McNamara, authorize the use of CHF funds for the development of 12 affordable housing units at the Preserve at South Country, Queog. Also, Town Board Resolution 50563, co-sponsored with Councilman Martell. Recall and amend Town Board Resolution 2025-205 to increase the funding for Youth Bureau consultant agreements.
Page 33.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay. Town Board Resolution ID number 50450 to authorize the settlement of the litigation matter Grace M. Larson et al. Versus the Town of Southampton et al.
Town Board Resolution ID 50524, a local law adopting amendments to Chapter 143 to further refine application and appeal procedures. This had a public hearing on July 8th. Town Board Resolution ID 50513, co-sponsored with Councilman Iacilli. Authorization of a cost reimbursement waiver for Hampton Bays Fire Department Carnival from July 29th to August 3rd. I heard it was a great success.
1-3 and 1-6, please.
Town Board Resolution ID 50516, co-sponsored with Councilman Iacilli. Authorization of cost reimbursement waiver for the Greek Orthodox Church Hampton's Greek Festival from July 10th to July 13th. Town Board Resolution ID 50515, co-sponsored with Councilman Iacilli. Authorization of cost reimbursement waiver for the Hampton Bays Fire Department Parade on July 30th, 2025, from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Town Board Resolution ID 50518, co-sponsored with Councilman Iacilli. Authorization of a cost reimbursement waiver for the Southampton Animal Shelter Foundation's 16th Annual Unconditional Love Gala that was held on July 19th, 2025. Town Board Resolution ID 50582, co-sponsored with Councilman Iacilli. Authorize partial waiver of police fees for the 2025 Hampton Classic Horse Show. Town Board Resolution ID 50583, co-sponsored with Councilman Iacilli. Authorizing partial waiver of fire marshal fees for the 2025 Hampton Classic. I just want to note that all of those events either benefit a non-for-profit directly or they greatly benefit nonprofits located in the town.
Yes.
Town Board Resolution ID number 50593, co-sponsored by the entire board. The historic landmark designation of the site recognized as the Methodist Point Historical Site located at 1040 Flanders Road in Flanders.
Town Board Resolution ID 50580, co-sponsored with Councilman Iacilli. Tent fee adjustment for the 2025 Hampton Classic. Town Board Resolution ID 50546. Waive a portion of the showmobile fees for the West Hampton Chamber Fall Festival on Main.
Town Board Resolution ID number 50542 to appoint Michael McCormick to driver, messenger, and senior services. Town Board Resolution ID number 50517 to appoint Police Officer Tyjon Hawkins in the Academy. Town Board Resolution ID number 50550 to appoint Regina Hallahan to Senior Account Clerk in Parks and Recreation. Town Board Resolution ID number 50526 to terminate an employee in the Comptroller's Office. Town Board Resolution ID number 50474, termination of an employee in the Highway Department.
Town Board Resolution 50528, co-sponsored with council members Martell and McNamara. Notice of public hearing to consider the acquisition of a historic preservation and conservation easement on property located at 11 Walnut Avenue in the hamlet of East Quogue and amend the Community Preservation Project Plan and the CPF Management Plan and Stewardship Plan to include the said property.
Kim, can you add me to that, please?
Town Board Resolution 50599. This is to renotice a public hearing to consider the acquisition of a historic preservation and conservation easement on property located at 149 South Country Road in the hamlet of Remsenburg, Spionk, and amend the CPF Preservation Project Plan and Management and Stewardship Plan to include said property.
Town Board Resolution ID number 50531, co-sponsored by the entire board, which is a notice of public hearing to consider the acquisition of 10 Ferry Road in the village of North Haven and to amend the CPF project plan and the CPF management and stewardship plan to include the property.
Town Board Resolution ID 50530, notice of public hearing to consider the acquisition of 199 Dune Road in the village of Quogue and amend the CPF management and stewardship plan to include the property.
Town Board Resolution ID number 50541, co-sponsored by council members McNamara and Martell. A notice of public hearing to consider the acquisition of lands located on the west side of Northview Hills Court, Suffolk County tax map numbers as indicated in the hamlet of Noyak, New York, and to amend the CPF management and stewardship plan to include the property.
Deputy Clerk, if I could be added to that? Thank you so much.
And there's two add-ons. These are Town Board Resolution ID number 50601, a notice of public hearing to consider amending the Town Code, Chapter 64, to eliminate term limits for the Zoning Board and the Planning Board members. And Town Board Resolution ID number 50602, which is a notice of public hearing to consider amending Town Code Chapter 330-163 and Chapter 330-181 to reduce the term of the Zoning Board and Planning Board members from 7 years to 4 years, and those public hearings will both take place on September 9th, 2025. Wow, we're early, imagine that.
I know, because we talk so fast.
I know, we do, it's like
We're here.
rapid fire.
Yeah, outside. We can
Yeah.
bring them in.
We have them in. Who do we have? Yeah, that's not change. We're all wearing blue today. We're all wearing blue today, the 5 of us. Yes,
Hey, Nick, how you doing again? I'm not gonna bother
it's in
you.
your photos.
Hey, on the resolution.
So the next topic is a review of a proposed code change, 111 Majors Path in North Sea. So why don't you come on up? We got, well, Janice Shear, I don't see her here yet, but Zach Epley, the applicant, Dave Gilmartin, attorney for the applicant. And you have someone else here with you?
Whole life?
Oh, hello.
It's better half.
And Janice Shear and Teresa.
I'll
Wilson.
put one later on. Oh, here it is.
Come on up, pull up chairs.
3-5.
Yeah, we did.
And also the HVAC in the center.
We really need to invest in an easel one of these days.
Teresa's gonna sit there so you can like go on the aerial or anything.
I was just saying we need to invest in an easel one of these days.
I think somebody took
We should have a smart board.
Yeah.
Put it in the budget. Put it in the budget. Someone needs to ask for it.
TV.
Oh.
Whiteboard.
Oh, so we can move it over.
Nice
Okay.
whiteboard.
One of these goes for Janice.
I'll get back here and get on. Just want to tell you,
Yes. Honey,
he's fixing
How are you?
basically was money they moved over.
Yeah, I didn't know about the HVAC. So this is just left over. Yeah, I figured. You know, it said in the resolution for the other two, but it didn't say for that one. Extra,
That should do it, right?
You got enough?
Yeah.
Everybody
you
good?
do.
Christine?
Christine has one too, right?
Mhm.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Oh, I had.
Thank you.
That's just the old report.
Said that on. Oh, this is a new report? Oh, so we already have. They gave us.
It didn't change. No, I didn't change it.
I remember this.
All right, we're ready.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Janice Scherer, Town Planning and Development Administrator, and here today we're talking about 1100 Majors Path in North Sea. Teresa Mason is over at the computer. We have David Gilmartin and Zach Epley here to talk about their proposal This was from 2023. This report and the previous board had granted and elect to consider. And there's two members here from the previous board, but we realize the majority has not had the opportunity to hear about the proposal. So wanted to give them that chance to
Yeah, thank you
explain the
for coming in to
project
talk us through it.
and go through it with you. So thank you.
Okay, the property is located at 1100 Bajors Path. It's about 8.6 acres. It's located in the CR 200 zoning district, and we're looking to change it to an MF 44 to accommodate 34 affordable units. It would be 100% affordable. Currently, we have a on-site
Will
best
those be rentals or
rentals, correct?
rentals?
We have an on-site best system proposed, although we're pretty open to whatever the health department requires as we go through that process.
Sorry, can you repeat that? What was it? A
Best system.
okay.
I think one of the really compelling facts in this is the lot coverage that we're actually putting these units on, and the roofed area is only 5% of the lot. Impervious surfaces are about 14.7, and then natural and landscaped area is 80% of the lot. So we're really able to keep a lot of the natural features of the lot in place. Some of the issues that we've run into, and this is just a proposal. Obviously, we have to go through a long process to get this done, and we're open to any input or better ways to do things. But the access way, we tried to get that as far away from the Mary's Lane straight path.
Excuse me 1 second. Hey, Kevin, can you zoom in on this?
So may be able to pull it up too, so you can see.
Or unless you can pull it up.
Oh, that's not the right one.
It'd be easier for the people to see it.
She'll pull it up while you're talking.
So one of the challenging features was this intersection here. So we tried to have the access be as far away from that as possible. We have two lots that we border residential lots, one here and then one up in the corner that are small residential lots. And we tried to achieve as much distance from those houses as possible. But again, this is our initial proposal, and we're happy to work with this board or the planning board as we go through the process.
Well, if we were to grant you the zone change, you'd still have to go through the planning process, right?
Site plan, yeah.
Full secret, everything.
And then, I'll ask Zach to talk to you. I mean, I think the need for this is vital at this point. I think that's what you're.
It's great on the need is great on the east side of the canal in particular.
There's a house like right in the triangle right
There's
here.
one here and then here.
Yeah. That septic system is right behind that house.
Yes.
Yeah.
It meets the setback requirements. We had an
it does.
engineer. Yeah, we meet the setback requirements. But again,
Or is it a quiet system? Is it a quiet system or
Yeah.
the motor's underground?
Yeah, it'll be all there, and we actually we put it into the health department already, so they're reviewing the system. So
So
you know,
just for clarification, the town board already elected to consider this project, and you've already moved ahead, and you've gone to the health department for,
yeah, we
made the
Yeah.
full application and
They-
we're
yeah,
in the
they-
secret process.
the full application has come into the town. We've gotten everything. We've gotten letters back. We've put everything submitted in. During that, we started to go to the health department because we know sometimes that could take a while. And if they have recommendations to the site plan, we wouldn't want to have anything. We would want to bring that back to the town.
yeah, I just
before
wanted to let the board know that we've already elected to consider, we're now on the point of doing the zone change.
Well, considering the zone
The
change, we
next
elected
step
to
would be
consider
to
the zone
commence
change.
secra. And you would see a resolution about commencing secra and be like, what is this? So here is your chance to hear all about the project before we commence.
We don't do the zone
secra.
change first typically, or is it?
Secra precedes, is
You
part
wanna
of the
know what
zone
it's gonna
change.
do before you
Commence the
change the
environmental
zone.
review.
You need to make your secret decision as part of the zone.
Because I recall having conversations about this.
Oh, yeah, sure, no, it's been.
So you're gonna, the next step
Can you
is
please zoom in
to,
on that?
it's a type 1 action under
it is?
SECRA. You
Yeah.
have to commence SECRA,
Okay.
coordinate lead agency, assume lead agency.
Who would be lead
Can you put it on the whole
agency, this
screen?
board or the planning board?
Because you're the legislative board, although
But it
you
changes
would
up.
coordinate, when you coordinate SECRA, you coordinate with all different entities that have decision-making power. So you'll
Thank
coordinate
you.
with the health department, you coordinate with the planning board, but they don't take lead agency because you're the one that has to decide on the legislative side whether or not this is appropriate.
Yeah, I
So
was just pointing out that we did the elect to consider, which then triggers them putting more money
So you
into.
have- Yeah, we've received the formal application now, so, and I believe it's
I see this?
complete.
The
There were some
formal
issues.
application for a zone change?
Yes, correct. So it was incomplete for a while because there was some slopes here and we wanted some analysis about that.
Understood. So in the previous engagement process with the town, was there any outreach? And maybe the previous board members can tell me with the North Sea.
We went to the North Sea CAC,
I was at the CAC meeting with them.
and they reacted favorably.
Great. And now, is there also CHF participation in this to make the units?
We haven't reached a point in that yet. I mean, one of the, and I should let Zach talk to you about how this concept
That'd be
came
great.
about, because it's important that you hear from him about that, and then you'll understand what our view of it is.
What's your vision, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, my vision is, I would say, for local people around here and living. You know, I want to include everybody in the housing and stuff, but I feel that as if it could be privately funded affordable housing, it gives us a little more flexibility with that stuff.
Oh, I don't know if that's true.
It doesn't have to go to a lottery.
I don't know that that's true.
You know,
Is that
you know,
true, Jim?
If it's privately
Or do you need
funded.
time to look into that? I thought that no matter what, it has to be.
Has to be what?
If it's
As far as-
affordable housing, can you have, can you have a preference?
Yeah, it's an interesting question.
It's not a preference,
Doesn't-
it's not a lottery.
Doesn't
yeah, it's
mean we
not like
wouldn't do it. It's just, I don't want.
I think you still have to
anyone
comply
to
with fair
think that-
housing regardless. You'd have to
Preference
comply
meaning
with
like
Fair
only
Housing
someone
Act.
from a certain zip
Comply
code
with that.
can
Of course,
avail
yeah, yeah.
themselves to the.
Right, and it sounds like that's what he's suggesting.
But I think maybe with Zach,
That's exactly what we're suggesting. Is
Yeah.
that this is going to be for local people,
Right.
and it's.
Can that be legally done?
Yes, it's my view that we live in a community that has enough
Diverse.
diverse community
Yeah.
that there won't be any fair housing.
right.
We kind of do it in a way where, with that one program what we have where you have to work 30% in the town.
Oh,
30
yeah,
hours
yeah,
in
you have to
town.
work in the town.
So that's basically the same thing.
Dave is making an important point there. If you listen to what Dave was saying there, it's true because other towns, some of the other towns on Long Island and throughout the country have run into an issue when they try to consider a preference because it depends on the
Census diversity.
population of that town, right? The diversity of that town. But as Dave's pointing out, we enjoy a fair amount of diversity in this town, and I think it's enough that would sustain any kind of real challenge to a preference.
Do we have
depending
the
on the
data
preference.
on that? I mean, is
Yeah.
that
Oh, yeah,
something we
sure,
know,
we-
or we just anecdotally think it's
You know,
true?
we certainly would want to drill down a little bit more, but like, say I know, for example, the fair housing, it was a town of Oyster Bay, was, faced with a fair housing challenge, and their town was substantially less diverse than this town, so that was the issue. And then, of course, the details about how what the preferences are, how they are, what they're written, how they apply, those things are all going to be important.
So as a private landowner doing the rentals himself, basically the fair housing claim would be against him, not the town of Southampton.
Sure, right. If they're going to be kicked out there, sure, right. And also, I mean, I think there is flexibility.
I'm just saying, I'm just taking the town out of the equation on that one
No.
because it wouldn't be against us.
But if we're making a decision in reliance on that representation, that's all I'm saying. And not that, I don't know if that even persuades us, I just want to, for the record,
Yeah,
know.
I mean, ultimately, like, I've grown up in Southampton, lived here my whole life. I see all the affordable housing issues that we have out here, especially east of the canal. It's only getting worse. Luckily, we were close enough where we got a house. We have some family property and we're able to build. And I see friends now that are turning 40 and they're still trying to figure stuff out. And I don't know what will happen with the next generation. So, we, as you guys know, we can't get nurses. We can't get teachers to stay more than 2 or 3 years. We have zero I'm the varsity baseball coach, and majority of our coaches are from not in the school because they're all living up the island and sitting in traffic.
And on that notion, just not to mention the traffic task force final report talks about the housing crisis and how it's related to all the traffic that's coming out here. It's up island workforce.
And I know it's great, but there's limited pieces east of the canal,
Right.
And as we look at these projects and we look at things, and I think we're doing great things in Flanders and other places, but it doesn't help with the traffic.
Yeah.
It doesn't help with the commute.
I completely agree with what you're saying.
And that's kind of where this vision came from. We bought this property to build our own house on it. We were going to build a lake compound with all our kids and fence them in, but different things happened, and trying to move 4 little kids and everything was a little chaotic. So we sat on it, and a lot of people had asked about affordable housing and building units. So I said, all right, we'll put something in and we'll throw it into the town. And we've been working on this for probably 2 years now. It was 2 years ago. Jay was still here as supervisor, and met with the CAC out in North Sea, and then put all the full applications in and spent some money on this. Spending all my own money on it.
Can you talk a little bit about the way in which you're going to make this affordable? And when you say 100% affordable, what are we looking at?
I'm looking at rentals at the higher level, whatever the county. I know it changes every year on what those rentals. Most of these are 2-bedroom, some are 1-bedroom.
Do you know the mix yet?
There are 34 units between 1 and 2 bedrooms.
It's
and
26 2-bedrooms, 8 1-bedroom units.
And we would agree to a covenant that we meet Chapter 216 requirements to keep it affordable, and put a covenant in that it'd be affordable.
Follow those AMIs.
Yeah.
Sure.
Expect that as part of the process.
And as trying to basically make this for, teachers and nurses, you would have the higher level of the AMIs.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, when you look at the higher levels, they're 25, 26.
'Cause a lot of times they get left out of the equation because they don't qualify.
Yeah, $2,500, $2,600 a month in rent, the income levels, right? So I think when you look at who will come in here, it's going to end up being nurses, it's going to be teachers, it's going to be people working in the community.
I mean, we have doctors living in basement apartments.
Yeah, it's because I've talked to people at the hospital even about this project and stuff, and they're like, we can't get anybody to work. Like, we have doctors sharing bedrooms, in security. And I've been approached by a few different organizations saying, hey, when that gets we need staff out, with hospice and all this other stuff about trying to get people out here.
So who's going to qualify the applicants and then monitor that each year? If we did, we would have to send the letter.
In order to qualify for a rental permit, you have to show tenant income qualifications.
So it goes to the CHF.
It goes through.
No, it goes
through Kara.
We use,
Kara's office.
CHF uses CDLI. They use community development.
But there's a process in place.
Yeah, she works with Ryan to do the affidavits.
To ensure that the tenants are qualified.
But it's also Long Island Housing Partnership.
CDC Long Island or other agencies
LIHP.
do that. Yeah. Do that.
And my goal is to hopefully get some people in there. I mean, look at our schools. I mean, we were 1,700 people as our enrollment 9 years ago. We're below 1,200 in Southampton district. Tuckahoe was 400 people about 8 years ago, and they're at about 200 people now. So, we're in a crisis with people out here, and
We're building homes. They're just not for the right people.
yeah, we're building a lot of homes, and we have a lot of traffic, and but they're all moving, and we're hopefully get some people in here, give them a chance to start a place to rent.
Have you been in contact with the homeowner that's in that little triangle piece?
I know one of them personally, and I've talked to him about it. I don't know the other.
Okay.
triangle.
Oh, I'm just concerned about the one that's right in the center of the property.
Yeah, there's two.
There's
we
two.
We know this homeowner. We don't know that one.
Okay.
That just sold in the last few years. I actually knew who had owned it prior as a rental, but it's not anymore.
So there's a large piece of property abutting yours that has also expressed interest or buyers of that property for also the same purposes. Have you had any conversations about that?
I had some discussions with them. They don't have an offer on it. They don't have a price agreed on for the property.
It was an idea.
It was a great idea. I talked to him as like, hey, I'm moving forward with this application. It's been here, but if anything ever came to fruition over it, we could look at doing some kind of thing together. But I want
Like access wise,
and
that would be the biggest thing
yeah.
because they're really landlocked there.
But they're not very close
Far
to
along.
even.
Okay, they're still in the dose.
Like they don't even have a purchase offer in an agreed upon price
Okay.
for those lots. So that, and there'd be contingencies with that stuff. They don't know if the owners would agree on that, and I've had some conversations with the owners about it. And then the other one that's vacant is actually owned by the school district.
Yeah.
And that was designated for
We
field
gave-
for
well,
school field use or.
That was part of the North Sea
Yeah,
mixed
yeah.
use PDD for the school district. So if they don't want it, any
But the school would put it up for sale, but it can only be used for athletic fields, right?
Yeah, so they shouldn't really be necessarily selling it. It should probably come back to the town. Somebody should probably talk to them about that. But anyway, that was a condition of a zone change.
You may have just done that.
Well, yeah, he's on the school board.
So,
President
so we
school
should
board.
probably discuss that with them and you.
Yeah, that's, I know
That was all a
I
condition
know-
of that.
I know
North
originally there was plans to put fields up there, and because we were running out of fields, but with our shrinking population at the school, we haven't had those issues with field usages. We have less teams, less sports.
It's not what it was.
What's the R20 adjoining property? What's the density there? What is that, like half acre?
R20, yeah,
Acre,
that's
half acre?
a builder's acre is 40, so R20 is half that. A true acre is 43.
You have outdoor space for the tenants here?
There's grass. We don't have any like
Designated?
built-in designated picnic tables or gazebo areas. That's something we would be open to if you guys have it, on that. And the one thing we had talked about too is I know through the woods is some of the hiking trails and stuff. So we had talked about maybe even parking access because some of those hikers park right on
That'd be good.
Major's path, and you see those 2 or 3 cars that kind of hang out in the road. So we could even do something with a trail access. I don't know exactly which ones. There are none that are mapped on our property.
Okay.
So there's no anything that's on that. We had it all surveyed out and checked with the town.
Yeah.
But there might be some in the adjoining properties that they might.
I think there's one in the back who goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as part of the process, it goes through the
Yeah.
Trails Advisory Board anyway.
Yeah, so we had looked at that originally. I know 3 years ago or 4 years how many years ago when I bought the property, because they looked like there was a trail and there wasn't anything that was mapped and it was moved in the survey.
Do you have any drawings of what the units may look like? Wow.
We also have floor plans.
2-story.
2-story, outdoor access to the second floor, first floor access.
It's attractive.
Get that digitally. I don't think we have the elevations on our website.
Let me check, hold on.
Yeah, maybe the picture, maybe it would be.
No. Let me see if I have it in the electronic file.
Oh, this is the second floor. So yeah, they're over each other, over top.
The ADA units on the first
Yeah.
floor? Okay.
Yeah. So this is just kind of proposed 2-bedroom with outdoor access with the covering, and then the second floor, real quick, would have an outdoor entrance with a step up, same type with a outdoor.
So each unit has their own private entry, no
Yep.
common hallway?
No common hallway. I know that's to code here,
Yeah,
so you
we
can
have
do
a
up to
requirement.
8 units in a building,
Yeah.
and they have to have their own separate entrance outside. So
Good.
everything was designed up to.
That's
That's the elevation.
And again, this is just an initial proposal.
It's nice.
Are you providing, you might have said this, I'm sorry if you did, park area, because,
Yeah, we would be open to it. We were trying to leave as much natural tree area as possible and limit the open space.
And it's walkable to SYS
So
and
it's
the
all
North Sea
walkable.
field.
So we do have some grass area and we would be
Or North Sea
open
Park.
to,
It's some outdoor space.
outdoor space,
Yeah.
and it is walkable right through the woods to SYS with playgrounds, and that's kind of why we liked the property to build our house originally. We're like, our kids will just run through the woods and come back covered with ticks, spray them down, and then send them out the next day.
Janice, is there any requirement that if you need to provide a park facility or you have to pay into the park fund?
So in a zone change, you can require that. That's usually a subdivision requirement for a park amenity. The hiking trails or trail access would potentially count. So we can count that. So we'll take a look at that in the secret review.
Would the benefit of this whole project just be the affordability?
Absolutely.
I mean,
It's just
you're
that-
not, I mean, are you held to the same requirements as somebody like building for profit, full-on subdivision?
You know, it's still building, right? So we look at it like development is development,
Yeah.
whether it's restricted or not. It's still like you want all the amenities that you would get normally. So in the SECRA, we'll look at, you know, one of the categories is, you know, looking at that. So we'll take a look and you can decide, and they can put on the map some trails within, or show a trail link, or show maybe public parking, and that would then, you know, potentially count for that.
My understanding with the NRP project, the previous board had made a contingency that they would give the zone change based on a certain number of years of affordability. Is that correct? Is this based?
Is this,
No?
That came up
is this affordable in perpetuity, or what's the
Chapter
link?
216 requires affordability in perpetuity. So, yes.
So it would be affordable in perpetuity. It would be
100%. Yes.
Oh, that's great.
So the
that's a
NRP was a different story because their state contracts expire like 40 years out, and then they try to re-up them. So essentially it's perpetuity, but not really, because they renegotiate.
I know it didn't. I know the NRP didn't have anything to do with perpetuity, but I know, from my understanding, the zone change that was provided by the board was based on some sort of agreement of affordability. I don't know if that was in perpetuity or not. It wasn't. I don't think in perpetuity, but it did have to do with the units being affordable, or a number of units being affordable for a certain period of time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, we would want assurances that the affordability remains. Okay, good.
That's great. Thank you.
That's a great point, because when we saw this in '23, I got the impression you were talking more about below market rates rather than, you know, fitting the affordable housing, scheme. So now the fact that we're going to be able to follow that and keep these for years to come, I think is a great addition to this plan. I remember you went through great pains to kind of cluster it so we'd have as much open space.
That's the driving force in the site plan planning. But if this board, through the zone change process, wants more area for recreational space, we're happy to do it. But the driving force was to try and create as much open space as possible.
Well, I think Bill's correct. I think a little space set aside, maybe for picnic area now, maybe a playground later, would be enough. You know, if you have little kids, it's hard to hike to SYS through the woods. It is pretty close to SYS. The driveways are what, a couple?
1,000 feet apart.
Okay.
Should be actually sidewalks going up
Yeah.
there so the kids don't have to walk.
Good.
But that's something with the highway could,
Sounds like a good grant application.
That would definitely be a positive addition to the community. I think.
Yeah, we'd be open to
Public playground, it
open
would just
space or
Turn into one.
so and recreational.
I would just like.
Have you been to like the North Sea CAC yet?
Yes.
2 years ago, because that was part of when we came in for the initial, it was how would they react, so we went to at least two, because we went to the one meeting and then the next meeting got on their agenda to talk and did a whole presentation.
Yeah.
McNamara was there.
There's a lot of questions. A lot of people
Yeah.
had a lot of questions. They actually the thing that kind of drove them to supporting the elect to consider was they wanted to get to this phase where there was more data and they understood the that basically we have to give some consideration for, yes, we're going to entertain this before the applicant invests more money in SECRA and doing all the analysis and they were, their main concern was not like playground area or open space. Their biggest thing was preserving as much of the existing woods as possible. So, I mean, on that front, I would be supportive of a couple parking spots and a trail connection if that was possible.
I agree.
And you're not looking for tax credits, right? You're not looking for any kind of tax credit funding. Yeah. So that also gives you the flexibility, additional flexibility as far as the level of the AMI typically, right? Because generally when you're competing for the tax credits, it generally ends up being geared towards the lower end of the AMI. So if you don't have that limitation, you certainly have more flexibility. When you're talking about flexibility, it gives you more flexibility to kind of do the program the way you want to do it as far as the AMI levels.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of the
Authority is not involved. This is solely without them. Okay.
yeah, I mean, a lot of
I've heard they were, and then they're not, and
Yeah, I
so
heard
I
that
just want to
too,
make
yeah.
sure
Yeah,
if they are
were
or
not,
not. Not that it's a bad thing, I just wanted.
they were not involved. We have talked to Georgia Green about constructing it.
and definitely know what they're doing.
Yeah, we need someone to construct
You
it,
don't
but
want to
that's
reinvent the wheel.
that's really the only discussion. So
Yeah, I mean, right now it's me and my wife, we own it.
Yeah, and that's
Put our
I
money in
think
and
that's
invest
a
into
good
it, so.
point to make, is a lot of the affordable units we are creating are using public funding and therefore not available to like professionals because,
A certain amount
The
can
income
be,
limits are lower.
but right, to qualify for the tax credits, they generally geared towards the low AMI. So if that's not in play here, then you certainly have some more flexibility as to how
So
you
this
wanna
is
work.
also aquifer protection overlay district, so there are requirements for, keeping the clearing to a minimum and, irrigation and fertilizer dependent vegetation is also regulated in that.
Given that fact, I do want to emphasize what the councilwoman was saying, about connection to trail as opposed to recreational. I just think that, one might have larger disturbance implications than the other. So just
Well, you're definitely gonna have
something
to
that I'd like to
disturb
just
the area for the
emphasize.
development and the
course.
STP. So I don't know if you have those
course.
calculations, but we would wanna look at that. Like how much clearing you need for those two things.
yeah, we have that.
So in the SECRA, so we're gonna commence SECRA, so those are the things we're gonna wanna see.
But you get what I'm saying, though, in terms of like if you already have a certain amount of disturbance that's already going to happen, and if it's already restricted.
We understand the
Yeah.
disturbance.
And just for your information, you can see I did put up the trails map. I'll take the aquifer section.
Oh, wonderful.
So the green and white the black and white is the Pominock Trail, Pominock Path, and these are smaller offshoots trails. So it's possible to make connections here. Ideally, especially if you can get agreement with this guy or this guy. Or,
You'd have to have an agreement
School
with that guy.
With the school district.
But in your plan, could you put sidewalks in the front of your place?
We could, if that's something that
Yeah, that way
we'll
it's
do. I
easy.
know right now it just kind of has the catch
Yeah.
basins to catch the runoff.
That way you could eventually,
You can certainly require it.
It
If
would
there
kind of,
is-
right now, it'd kind of be a sidewalk to nowhere, though.
Yeah, because there is one more lot before you get to, if you're talking about like to the SYS, so you'd have to get
It's a large
the
lot.
neighbor.
yeah, then when they come in, then they have to
Technically,
do a
right,
sidewalk
yeah.
too.
Technically, what?
Yeah. Oh, yes, there's that little one too. On the,
there's this one, and then
We're
this
putting a performance bond to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
performance
eventually-
bond.
When that other lot gets developed,
yeah, we could do a thing which would be nice, be safe.
be safer. Because that is, you have that bend, yeah.
Yeah, right now you don't have access to the trails, right? You'd have to cut through someone's property.
Yeah, I know there are unofficial trails there, but we don't. There's no access to our.
You want a safe spot for kids to go back and forth.
Yeah.
So the next step is coordinate secra. We have a resolution, it's not in the packet, we could put it on if you want, or you can wait till the next meeting, it's up to you.
I'm happy to sponsor.
It's, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just, the resolution will just be to commence and coordinate
Right.
secra.
Okay.
We can sponsor it.
I'm sorry.
We can sponsor it.
You, Bill, and Michael, close.
Rick, did you want to be on that too?
Yes, please.
Maria?
Everyone, just, oh, everyone.
You sound so happy.
That's a good sign.
That's a really good sign.
This is just to commence the seeker review.
This is just to make you spend more money.
It's commence secra and coordinate lead agency. Those are
That's
the,
good.
that's the activity that's taking place in the resolution, and then we will send out coordination letters. I just need the elevations and the floor plans
Okay.
digitally.
Yeah.
So I can send that out.
Glenn has.
Yeah, I have it somewhere.
Yeah,
on my computer somewhere. Yeah.
Just please send them to Teresa.
So yeah, I'll
Thank you. So that way, because we have to send those out with the coordination.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks. It's
Thank you.
good to see it in person.
Thanks for the check too.
Oh yes, you guys are all the. Thank you guys for the
Oh,
roof. But
Good,
the,
the check came in.
the roof at SYS looks wonderful.
They came in
Terrific.
last week.
You guys so
Thank you
much.
for cooperating,
And
that was
thank you
nice.
for working on some basketball court stuff too. Yeah.
That was not
So
a hassle.
thank you, Deborah. Very appreciative.
Thank you. Bye. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Dave. Hey, Sean. Hey, Bill. How are you? Good.
Cold in here.
It's
What
nice.
is going on? Who's in charge of
It was like 80 degrees.
It was warm.
But I didn't make one up over
Cool down quick.
From the camera.
Otherwise, they're putting themselves in.
Right.
People just say things, right? Like it's
We'll
true.
get through the process, yeah.
Nick did a beautiful job calling this place there.
here. It was so loud.
Yeah, I know.
I just turned the fan down.
We just make sure they're, yeah, we just make sure they're in the song.
And then we send out the letters and make sure that they're still, but it's fine.
It doesn't matter, to get their rental application, they have to put in rental application to get their permit to rent, they have to qualify.
Nope. Can I call you back later? Okay, thank you.
That's as far as the rental permit goes. To get their rental permit. They have covenants on property, that's our role, we have to enforce covenants. They're gonna have an affordability covenant on property.
With, hey, we'll drop her off in the morning. You go pick her up and then you go for a walk. Can you believe she's walking already? I just remember when she was a little lump in front of your board. She loves the aquarium. What's that? Oh, you can go inside the penguin thing?
I can't go in there, but, because I can't bend down.
Oh, wow, that's so sweet.
My wife came yesterday for the first time. We can go by ourselves.
Oh, she looks like she had fun.
That's the Peter
Bagels and what? What's she eating?
He just walked out while I was walking in.
Yeah, let's go.
Well, it's his legislation. I can start handing it out.
If you have a copy.
Even better.
Right, everybody has a copy of this?
Noise code? And my packet.
Yeah.
So as soon as Michael comes, we'll start our next topic, which is proposed revisions to chapter 235 on noise.
Of course.
Assistant Town Attorney Sean Cambridge. This
Your
happened
mic
fast.
is off.
Oh.
We're waiting for Michael.
Where was that?
Where was what?
Where did you get that?
Oh, the noise code? It should be in the
I
folder.
have extra copies if you like.
Please. Of course. Thank you.
Michael's in the meeting.
What? What do you mean?
He's in a meeting with Kathleen.
Wow, tell him to get it. He just texted you? Tell him to get back in
He was
here.
in the office and she said he was in
Tell him to come back in, please.
This is his.
Yeah. Well, it's his and it turned into kind of three different conversations, but I'll go through all the details.
Seriously.
I'll be back.
Go get him, Bill.
I'm better than a text.
He said he's coming. I talked to him. I called him, yeah. We were ahead of schedule.
I'll be brief.
I can too. No, no, and no.
So you might like one of them.
I like the outdoor speaker one.
Well, that's one of them.
That's what I like. Hey, Kevin. I don't know if they have the computer on or turn the TVs off. Thank you.
So sorry.
I thought it was Rick getting text messages.
What?
Not
me.
Wait for you.
Sorry.
All
What a great
right,
project.
so let's get started with our next topic, the proposed revisions to the noise code, chapter 235, and Sean Cambridge, our assistant town attorney, is here to talk us through. I know this was in response to some comments we received at a town board meeting recently.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. So this did start, I have extra copies too. This did start as some comments at a town board meeting, but it pretty quickly turned into three different conversations. And I'll briefly go over them and then we can get through the nitty gritty of each. The first was a weekend noise emanating from work restriction. The second was an hour regulation, basically taking an hour off of each side of the day that would be quiet. And the third is we have an outdoor speaker prohibition. But essentially, the way the law is written now, everyone's in violation, even with like a little cell phone speaker outside. So we wanted to carve out an exclusion for small outdoor speakers that otherwise would not violate the noise law. Things like little Bluetooth speakers, phones, little radios. Right. Things that are typical for like a weekend party, barbecue, something like that. Small scale speakers.
And Sean, that came at the recommendation of Ryan.
That came from our public safety division. Kind of when everyone's violating, it's hard to enforce against anyone.
Right.
So this is a pretty sensible carve out. That's why it's been included for today's work session. And just to remind everybody watching at home, this is our initial conversation phase. So this is not on the floor. This is not pending litigation. This is the conversation between the whole board to talk about what is reasonable and what may not be reasonable and where we should go from here. So that's the framed issue. So our first topic was the weekends. And it's been a problem, particularly in July and August, brought to the board by members of the public. People working kind of full tilt on weekends all summer, every summer. So the first provision is in 235(3)(a), and the provision reads, "No person shall create or cause to be emitted any noise, including noise from or relating to construction activities on Saturday and or Sunday during the months of July and August." So that's our first proposal. The second proposal, just down 2 paragraphs, would be, again, to take an hour off of each side of the day, if that makes sense. So start a no noise prohibition starting until 8 p.m., as in 8 a.m., I'm sorry. So you cannot make noise.
Wait a second, please.
Of course.
We have noise problem. They're just trying to figure it out. I have to unplug it.
I'm just turning it off.
Okay.
So we currently have a 7 to 7 noise restriction, meaning you can only make noise from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. What's proposed in this provision is shortening that window from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., taking an hour inward that noise can be made and adding an hour to the prohibition.
Now, I just want to mention that one of the women who came from the community to speak about the need to curtail some of the construction noise, she made a point, and I think it's a very good point for the board to consider, and that is that a lot of this noise is driven from a lot of contractors who are coming from up island, who are working at various hours early in the morning and so on and so forth, but it is contributing to the congestion that we are seeing in the summer in particular. And it was a recommendation with the Traffic Mitigation and Safety Task Force. In particular, Charlie McCardle had mentioned at several points the importance of figuring out how to rearrange the traffic from these big contractors that are coming out at certain times, and maybe having them scattered work hours. This is in an attempt to actually kind of, and his proposal was quite radical, but this one is really to try to maybe manage it in a way that can be doable. We're just really cutting down an hour on both ends, morning and later afternoon. And in the summertime, for 2 months, we're just prohibiting weekend hours from work. Correct?
So,
And that doesn't, and just one last point, and that's not including, Sean, people can work on their house, for instance, if they have some electrical, plumbing, other types of interior renovations. Right, that it doesn't stop people from doing work to their home.
This is a noise regulation,
Right.
not a work regulation.
Right.
So this is the noise code. So the proposal is saying that you cannot make any noise audible from your property lines. So if things are not producing noise, of course they're permitted.
Okay.
If this is adopted.
Right.
Right. This is only proposed litigation.
Is it construction noise and vehicle noise on
Really
property?
The same.
Or
Can you make it,
You can't really differentiate.
can you reduce the scope of what you have?
specifically say construction, right? So
Because that's an exception.
relating to construction activities.
So currently, as the code exists, there's an exception for construction noise.
Oh, I see.
So it's closing that exception for that one particular thing.
For the weekend.
Yes, that's why it's drafted in that manner.
And the noise is defined as what? The 65, over 65?
For different times of the day, there's different decibel readings.
You have the trouble with these big, the beep, 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 backing up.
Well, so that we're not going to be able to regulate. That's New York State DOT, and we're going to be preempted from regulating vehicle signals.
Where's the part that you're taking out, the exception for construction? I didn't see a strikeout.
Because it's written in including noise relating to
No,
construction.
but isn't that what you're adding?
No, so during the week, that's still an exception. So I left that alone, but for the weekend provision.
Where does it say, so what is the law now? No one should, cause any noise in excess of these numbers during those hours, but then you said, but there's an exception for construction. Where's the exception?
On the second to last page, we have provision 15, emergency construction or repair work performed by
Emergency
municipalities, and then there's also a provision,
Construction activities.
provision 3.
Yeah. Construction activities on Saturday and Sunday.
All right, so no one can make any noise to exceed those levels, except we said, but you can do construction activities from 8 to 6 on the weekends, provided,
Right, so this,
Not during the summer.
but
This
for
is written this
seasonal
way for the
restriction
summer, right.
periods.
So can I,
What are the seasonal restriction periods? Oh, that's an
July and
add,
August.
July and August.
so you added that underline part.
That's it, right, so we added this provision here
Mhm.
and added basically an enabling sentence to allow for a seasonal restriction in the exception period, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
And are there other municipalities that have these kinds of seasonal restrictions?
Some
not to this
villages,
extent.
have weekend prohibitions.
Can I-
Typically not towns, but you are a seasonal community, so
Can I speak?
of course, yeah.
So I see this as a full-on attack of the working class people on more than one front. On the first front, as far as Michael's point to traffic, you are taking what is now currently an 80-hour work week for construction during the summer, and you are slamming them down to a mandated 50-hour work week. That's Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. That is the only time they will be permitted to work. So that is the time that they will all work. I put this out to a few members of the Trades Advisory Committee. They have workers right now that drive out here at 5:30 a.m. in the morning to beat the traffic, and they can start at 7. If they can't start till 8, they will all be coming out later. Nobody is mandating for traffic purposes that, teachers start at a later time or lawyers start earlier. Nobody is mandating that we not hear helicopters on Saturdays and Sundays, which I would love. And so on the traffic front, you are going to make the traffic a bajillion times worse because everyone is going to have to squeeze all of their work into that 50-hour work week all summer long. That's a given. On the second side of this, as a working class person in this town, if I want to put a deck on my house or I want to do my roof, my husband's kind of handy and can do those things, but he needs help. And the only time that other workers in this town can help the local people that need help building something on their house or doing something, or even doing it at a cheaper rate because you can't hire a big-time contractor on this Monday through Friday window, which is going to be even more expensive and more delayed because they're already booked out. Now that book out's going to go worse, but we can't get friends to help us build a deck on our house on the weekends. I mean, this is so excessive to me.
Well, we're just having a work session, so we're not. This is not.
I
this
hope
is
it goes.
why
I
we're
hope
talking
this
about
does
it.
not change, and I am supportive of the outdoor speaker portion of this. But as far as restricting working hours,
Well, we're not restricting working hours. We are just restricting the noise that is permitted
so
at certain hours.
if your job creates noise, you can no longer do your job. So right now, I'm just going to give you an example, Michael, and I'm trying to stay calm on this because this is personal for me.
Because this is just
I know.
an initial
I know.
discussion. We want to be collaborative.
So
see
I
if
want
there's
to
some
just
ways
take
to
you through
resolve.
my husband's day, okay?
He leaves the house at 5 a.m. He goes out to job sites in Bridgehampton. He does weeding, backpack spraying, anything he can do that does not make noise until 7 a.m. But at 7 a.m., he has to start his day because if he has any hope of beating the traffic home, he's got to get done.
I would consider Mr. Mack great at his job, number one, and I would also consider Mr. Mack a local guy, and he's employing a lot of local workers.
He's employing himself. We don't employ anybody.
Okay, so he employs himself. But what I want to say, and I appreciate your points, but I want to say that also we have workforce that's coming out here that's not part of the town of Southampton that is causing a lot of traffic on our main roads and our residential streets. And this is a way to sort of chip away at non-local workforce, in particular, big developers who have big contracts out here to build mansions and so on and so forth. And look, I think the local people want to see us try to do something to attend to the overburden of an abundance of noise that sometimes comes from some of these excessive projects. And I think everybody, whether you're in Hampton Bays or you're in North Sea, you may see the overabundance of construction. And look, I think a lot of it's good that we have it. It's great that we have it. It's an indication that we have a thriving economy here on the East End. But I think we also need to listen to the people who are saying we have a traffic problem and a noise problem. I hear it a lot.
So I also reached out to the head of maintenance for the Parks Department. He could not function within these hours. They currently start at 6 a.m. Our Parks Department starts at 6 a.m.
But they're an
They have an
exception.
hour to get, no, they're not exceptions.
They're town.
Town's not exempted from this.
Yes, they are.
No, we're not.
You just read it.
We're not exempted from the leaf blower law. We're not exempted from
That's
this.
for emergency.
It's only for emergencies.
No, there was.
Nope. And if you're going to exempt the town, then I have an even bigger problem with this because you're saying that it doesn't matter, we can make noise, but the private sector people can't.
Right, and I don't agree with that.
That's not fair.
Either, and that's not what's.
And so
proposed.
they basically said our Parks Department workers, and this is twofold, okay? They start at 6 a.m. They work from dawn to dusk. They start at 6 a.m. By 7 a.m., they are on the job. They are cutting the lawns. We're going to have to hire more Parks Department people if they can't start cutting and stuff till 8. On the back end of that, they're done early afternoon. Most of them are out doing private work, cutting lawns for extra income to be able to live here. So you're then eating into their extra income as well.
Can I ask you, would you be amenable to looking at, and I mean, I don't know how the rest of the board feels about this particular proposal, but would you be willing to look at the new 8 to 6 and maybe looking at it at maybe instead of 8 to 6, 8 to 7? So we're only cutting down 1 hour instead of 2
You
hours?
can't cut them.
No, I think by starting later, you're actually doing yourself a disservice
With the
because
traffic.
our regular 9 to 5 workers are going to be in the same mess as everybody else. I believe the start time is fine. If you want to cut an hour off the end of the day, most of those contractors are sitting in traffic at that point anyway. And my brother was a landscaper. He went as far east as he could and tried to work his way back. He spent half of his day in traffic, so I understand the frustrations. The noise end of it, I think, is something we need to work on for, commercial establishments and backyard parties and all that. The construction end of it, I don't know an HOA who has this strict a regulation on working on the weekends. Basically, I can't work on my house on Saturday. I can work all week, and I can't work on my house with whether it be an outside contractor or a family member because I'm making noise on Saturday. Seems ridiculous to me that we're going to do away with Saturdays. I
How
can
do
see
we
Sunday.
address like
could
the
be-
construction of a home where it's going to go on for the whole summer with the banging and you just have the misfortune of living right next door?
So
to
I
it?
agree with that because some of these permits go out for 2-3 years, and there's people constantly working on these houses. If you want to restrict the hours maybe on a Saturday, and then the contractor is not going to send somebody out for 4 hours on a Saturday to work outside. He's going to send his indoor crews on that weekend.
Could we potentially, this is a Sean question, could we potentially limit construction through the building permit?
Possibly. Also, you regulate home improvement contractors. You could regulate people that are building new homes, specifically in that way.
Because
The
if you
ask
could
here was
regulate-
to change the noise code.
If you
though.
could regulate Sunday construction through the building permits for,
You
a
just
full
do
house
Sunday.
construction.
Yeah, because if it's just someone putting up a deck and they needed a couple of weekends to do it, that's different. But for the whole summer,
Right.
So
for
that was a
2
discussion
years.
as well.
Yeah.
We could limit through, it creates additional work for the building department, certainly. But
As
I mean, this would create a
So as liaison,
huge-
as
How do you
liaison to the building
define what
department, would
work
you
is?
support something like
I would
that?
support looking into potentially limiting construction of new homes on Sundays.
We can't just do Sundays though, according to Sean.
well, we try to avoid
Sundays and
particular,
federal holidays.
No, I think.
I'd be open to that. Yeah, it's a step.
No, because didn't you say
I think the
then
heart
with
of
for
it is gonna
religious
be-
reasons
Well,
that
right, it
people
has a
can't
collateral
do
But if you add,
on
if you add
Saturday?
federal holidays to it,
So different organized religions have different Sabbath days, and you don't want to alienate one over a different.
I mean, I think
Yeah.
there's precedence on people having Sundays and I mean, our leaf blower code in that restriction is Sundays and
Yeah.
federal holidays.
Right, right.
Could we
I
do
think
that?
the-
Could you draft something up with respect to permits that
I
restrict on Sundays
I think
and
the-
federal holidays?
I think the more difficult thing is going to be describing what construction activities you're
Exterior
going to
construction.
allow and which ones you're not. You know,
Yeah.
you're saying
I think
you're
if you get
saying,
a,
and
if you
I
get
agree
a
with
permit,
you.
right? It's not so that's basically like if you know there's a new home next door and there's workers showing up on Sunday to construct that new home.
And their permit doesn't require.
They have a permit obviously because they're building a new home. Then you know that they can't. But this way, you're not going between like, okay, I have a permit for a deck.
Well, that's what I mean. Like
That's a small project that's done in a week or two. If you had to work on a Sunday, you're talking one Sunday. It's not a whole home project.
Why is it better to put it in the building permit than in the code? I'm not
Because the code is
clear on what
noise.
we're
It's
doing.
not a
I think
specific.
what Cindy is arguing is that it can be more selective. So it
And
depends on
also-
the type of
And
project.
also, if you have it in the building permit, then if the guy say if he does it 2 Sundays in a row, the third Sunday, they can yank his building permit.
Well,
But it's-
I'm just concerned that we'd have to have some basis for that restriction in the building permit. So you'd have to have something like if someone challenges the building permit. What is this restriction in this building permit based on?
Contingent on
You're saying,
excessive
like-
can it be
noise.
construction
Can you show me the
noise?
section of the code?
Can it be
you know?
construction noise related to a building permit?
We might want to put something in the code. It doesn't have to be real
The problem is
specific.
we don't have a way to measure construction noise versus any other noise.
Because I'm saying too, they're building a new home. They could have an electrician in the house on a Sunday.
How about doing this? Do any exterior work on a new construction
Yeah.
on the weekends.
Yeah, well,
Interior, because this is
I
what I
see what you're
spoke to Sean about before, that once you go inside, the noise goes away.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
need- you
No,
don't
yeah,
need-
no.
It's not fair to do the HV and the electricians and all the
I
other
agree.
guys.
When it's long term,
we could try to put some general language in the code under the building permit section that
Right,
says
that's
that
what I
the building
suggested.
department will have the
Yeah, the
authority
building
to
permit section.
limit construction activities for certain construction activities for certain days of the
because
week.
I
something
live
like
here
that.
year round,
So
and
then-
I wouldn't want to live next door to it on Sundays for 3
Right, of
years
course.
either.
Yeah, right.
So doing July and August doesn't.
We decide
It helps a certain population, but not.
Yeah, right. I agree. I don't know.
This
Carve out a
summertime,
more,
does that
you know,
make sense?
Like focusing the relief.
So there
on-
is a section on that
Could we
on
do Saturday-
construction
would you
and
agree
building
to Saturday
permits
and
where it could
Sunday
go
and
instead of
federal
the
holidays?
noise section.
Potentially, yes.
Because of since we're
We're having this conversation.
Yeah.
I'm more than willing to go back to the Trade Advisory Committee, get their input on it.
Okay.
I think looking at this, I think Sundays and federal holidays would be a good place to start.
okay.
That being said, though, you're gonna have the same concern with not everyone has a contractor building their home. Some people are
Doing it
doing it
themselves.
themselves on weekends.
But
they
on
still need a
Sundays
permit.
and Sundays and holidays, they could do inside work.
Yeah, and they still need a permit though. It doesn't
They
matter if they have.
absolutely still need a permit, but
Yeah.
if you're restricting the exterior work, there may not be a time that they can do that if they're working on their own home with permits.
And we should eliminate, not make it apply to landscaping. That's not
But if you're
noisy.
fixing your deck or you're re-roofing your house, you don't need a permit. If you're doing maintenance activities, you don't need a permit. You can still maintain your home on Sundays. This is if you're going for a permit for a new house, new construction.
You want to replace some of your decking. You can. That's
Yeah.
Demolition and new construction.
We can work on the language. We can
So
work
the
on-
demolition
You can't demo your house on a Sunday.
February.
Can you work out a
I don't
draft?
know if you want to be that
This
specific.
is so,
Quite
but
frankly, I think you-
I'll go back and I'll ask if that's a doable. I mean, to me, that's way more fair to everybody, to the local people, to everybody. And then Sean and Jim can look into the legality of how to go about doing it.
I mean, I'm fine with that. I'd like to respond to the constituents who would like to see us respond to these issues. I think that does get at it. I'd like to see Saturday and Sunday, but I mean, I'd like you to ask the trades advisory if they'd be open to that. But I mean, because especially in the summertime, especially if we can even focus just the summertime where we have Saturdays and Sundays, where we do have the most traffic.
You're just talking about July and August.
July and
not
August, yeah.
June.
You could also
September.
impose the same kind of restriction with the hours and just make tighter hours on weekends if you're inclined to do something like that. For instance, like a 9 to 5 restriction on Saturday and Sunday versus a 8 or 7 to 6.
I don't think that would address what the people were saying. They're trying
Not
to
those
enjoy
people.
their
Yeah.
school.
Like I said, I don't want to hear helicopters.
Yeah.
The FAA. You got to call the FAA.
We'll just
You're
restrict
on
them from
the
South.
noise at
just-
the Bresky committee.
Yeah.
aren't you?
The FAA.
Can't we just
the
restrict them
FAA.
from Southampton airspace?
It's important
Yeah,
to know
you gotta call Chuck.
part of the issue is you want to discuss every issue when you're opening a code section.
Chuck knows
So
how
that's
to.
why we're having the 3 different conversations at once.
Yeah.
I just and I know I get kind of jammed up about this, but as somebody who goes home every day to somebody dealing with the traffic, and not just to get to and from work, but to get from job to job to job all day long.
Well, but I have to say though, Mr. Mack he's a local guy, and
But this doesn't
is
say
an
if you're
attack
coming
on our-
from up the island, your hours are
Well,
restricted.
that is the intent though. That is the intent because a lot of where this problem comes from isn't from our local people. It's from other.
And I've honestly talked to
companies.
Ryan about really cracking down and cracking down on contractors that aren't licensed out here, that are coming from the
Yeah,
island, that don't
I
have
agree.
a town license.
I agree with that.
So-
But I'm happy to work with a new
Direction.
Yeah, and we can work with the building department.
Well, so
But
for
I would
me-
like to
sure.
amend this for that outdoor speaker.
Yeah, because that's making enforcement difficult.
Yeah,
right?
I'm happy to do that as well.
So everyone seems to support the outdoor speaker.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'd
And
like to be
then,
lead sponsor on the amendment though.
okay, of course. And then how about
I
the
mean,
other?
just small outdoor speakers. Is that?
When you say small outdoor speaker, like what does it
Um,
mean?
so
Actually,
they-
there is a
They'd have to
Ryan
otherwise
knows.
fit into
Okay,
the noise
the decibels.
Ryan has a thing for it.
Because I have a small outdoor speaker that could probably
Very powerful.
yeah.
Maybe so, but the decibel reading is what counts, and
Okay.
it's not just Ryan has a meter, it's all code enforcement staff has a meter, the police department's being trained with meters, so this is a great enforcement method because it's metered sound from the property lines. So it's
It allows people to
universal.
enjoy their
Has-
backyards and their
Right.
families.
Yeah,
their
and then
friends.
not everyone's violating, de facto for having a speaker out. It's,
Right.
you have to meet the standard that otherwise exists. So it sounds like everybody supports that.
How about live music over speakers?
What's that?
How about live music with speakers?
So,
That's already in the code, right?
yeah, I mean,
We wouldn't be
there's a
affecting that.
prohibition on specifically amplified outdoor music. So live music is, it's gonna be a decibel reading on it, but that's already captured, I think.
Because people ask about that.
Of course. How does the
That should
board
be
generally
limited
feel
by-
about the
by
time
time.
restriction, the overall time restriction, the 8 to 6 that's proposed here? I heard Rick say that it made more sense to do 7 to 6. Where's
I don't
everybody
agree
at?
with changing the start time. I think 7 is fine.
Yeah, it might, because it might have an unintended consequence with
Yeah,
the traffic, because now you're putting them in when a lot of 9 to 5ers are trying
On
to
a
get to
separate
work.
track, let's try to work with the building department to see if we can
Yeah.
get a weekend restriction in with the permitting process. I'd be open to that for sure.
Would you like the 6 PM restriction or don't do that?
No, just let's go a different track with the timing.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
So
All right, so I have a
number 3
direction.
is good, 2 not so much, and 1 we'll look
One
at
will
the building
rework.
department. Yeah,
That's why we do work
this is
sessions.
very collaborative.
Yes.
Good.
Thank you.
Everybody.
I'm very pleased with this work session, doing this. I'd rather see this done like this than on Facebook.
Oh.
No, because really, people put stuff on Facebook and get people all wound up. And it should be discussed here between ourselves before it goes out.
We can do this.
That's why we have work sessions.
Yeah, that's good.
When we don't have a work session,
All right, so we'll be back with building.
Thank you,
code.
Sean. Thank you for your work on this, and
Thanks, Sean.
also thank you, Ryan, too.
and then I'll prepare that, the third
For another
revision.
work session when we, oh, well, the
outdoor
amendment we can put on,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
And did you want to be sole sponsor? Does anybody else want to sponsor?
I'd like to be the lead sponsor if anybody
I'll
else wants to
sponsor too.
co-sponsor.
Me
it's
too.
fine.
So Sean, I just one quick question on the sound. So the decibel level is what we go by, but we don't have any time restrictions? Like, does the decibel level change like after 10 o'clock?
Have multiple charts with denoted times, so
That
that
was still
the
there.
decibel level decreases as we go later in the evening. So
Good, yeah, that
The-
sounds good.
But there's no shutdown time.
there's no absolute shutdown time. Some of the lower decibel readings though, I joke around with Ryan, I'm like, you're always at that decibel reading, just in talking. So loud people are gonna hit that decibel, in a conversation maybe. Maybe that little outdoor speaker hits that reading at a certain time of day. So it's important to denote that it's not an all out, like we're getting rid of a noise restriction. We're carving out one little thing that everyone is doing.
But we seem to get the complaints that parties start at 2 in the afternoon and never stop. At 1 in the morning, there's still music, there's still something going on.
That's-
Is there a way to shut that down in here? I mean, we
Well, that's
could,
people just simply breaking the law. So those people they should be getting tickets.
but where is the law on that?
We're looking at it. So they're above the decibel reading. So they're getting tickets for exterior amplified sound,
Right.
readings over the decibel readings. We still have not exempted, and I made a point of, specifying PA systems are not permissible
Right.
ever at
That
all
goes to Bill's point about loud
without a
music.
special event permit.
Where are you seeing like the descending time? I don't see that.
So these charts, that's what this is here. The noise standard 235.3. So that first standard is the 7 to 7, and then our next standard is the reverse, the 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And these,
Wait, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
then we're going to 50 decibels, where I'm probably well over that right now. Right.
So I don't say, at 7 o'clock you can make a certain amount of noise, but at 11 p.m. you cannot. Is that showing in this chart? I don't see it.
So it's the 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. is this chart right here.
Yeah.
So there's no triggering point at 11. We could do that. We could lower this, but 50, which is your low side here, the decibel reading, is going to pretty much capture, I think, everything. And then we could, of course, tighten up exceptions if the board's inclined to do that, but most of these are pretty logical and well laid out.
And the advantage we have now is that all the police have the meters, and that is pretty recent now. So
Right.
they can take the decibel readings, or the code enforcement can do it.
Yeah, we've actually kind of adopted this train the trainer model. So our code enforcement staff is training our police department on calibration and use of the meters, and it's been working out well. Because in the past, you'd have to send people to a class, and wherever they're hosting that class this year, and it gets very costly. So now we do in-house training on these.
Great.
We have many other jurisdictions looking to us about how we did that and how we established that process.
Okay, so we have if you could
We got a
draft
game
up,
plan.
if you could draft up though the separate track for the building department permitting,
Mhm.
just for myself and Cindy to look at and the rest of the board, I think that would be really beneficial.
Great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
All right, good. That brings us to the Town Council and Supervisor Liaison update. Why don't we start at this end today? Cindy, do you have an update?
I actually missed our last work session because I was at CADCA with HUGS doing coalition training for prevention work. It was actually an amazing opportunity. I learned a lot. It was amazing to see where you think that you're so far ahead on prevention and things that you're doing in your community, and you find out you're actually way far behind. One of those was on the Handle with Care program, which the town of Southampton was, I believe, the first town in the state of New York to pilot. And I think there's currently only one or two other municipalities that are doing it. Whereas in Tennessee, they have over 100 trained agencies. They have over 50 counties. They had 2,557 notifications last year. But not just that, they have partnered their Handle with Care program with the National Drug and Endangered Children Coalition, the Office of Prevention, so that when these Handle with Care notices go out, they're able to give these kids a track to actually getting assistance and making sure that they are, checked in on, and they have youth academy or youth camps for them so that they can get together and talk about shared experiences. It was just really great, and it was 3 days of presentations and training seminars, and for 3 days I walked around, and every time I was with Kim Laube, there'd be 2 or 3 people that would, I just have to say thank you. Your session was amazing. And now most of the ones that I went to were either somebody just reading their cards, or I was like, wow, people really get excited about this stuff. And so the last training session I went to was Kim's. Amazing. I just no prepared notes, connected with everybody, and there was 300 people in her training session. So when I say that we have a resource in this town that we can go to, especially with cannabis, coming into play, and she is a force to be reckoned with. She really cares truly and deeply about what she does, and I can't wait to start the Safe in Southampton Coalition with her.
She's very dynamic.
She
and
really
does
is.
care.
And then the other thing I had was you and Rick and I were at National Night Out this week on,
Yeah, that
was
was
it
fun.
Wednesday night? Was it Wednesday night?
Yes.
Tuesday night.
Tuesday night.
Tuesday
yeah.
night.
Tuesday night. I couldn't be
And
there, sorry.
And then Rick can speak about his, but Rick did the middle school graduation for the Youth Academy, and I did the high school graduation. The high school graduation had 21 kids. There was a young man there who I thought was going to break my hand. He has a very firm handshake. But it was amazing to see what the kids did over a week, and they got a lot out of it, and they were all, really engaged, and their families were all there for the graduation. It was a great thing, and we've partnered now. It's not just Southampton Town; it's Southampton Town, Riverhead Town, Southampton Village, and West Hampton Beach. So between those agencies, they're able to they're capping out on the number of kids they can take into the program. So it really is a great thing.
And that National Night Out, I want to say Lieutenant Spencer was such a good sport because he was in the dunk tank.
Oh,
I don't know
really?
if you happened
Yeah.
to see that, but there were some kids with good arms, and he went
That's
down several
hysterical.
times.
Oh.
Quite a
In
few
uniform.
of our officers actually went in.
I
Did
wish
they?
I was
Yeah.
there.
I heard some
I know I
chants
saw
for
t- I saw-
supervisor, but she didn't take up on it.
No, I didn't hear it on that one, but maybe next year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on the
that
police
was pretty
graduation, the middle school, I mentioned it last week, did have 50 kids.
Yeah.
Very exhausted looking kids. They had a week of training, but it's a great program. And he is going to try to take more kids next year.
Wow.
It'll be pretty amazing.
And it is a big shout out to all of our officers and our detectives that go there and they work with these kids all week.
Mhm.
So it really is great.
I'll just say Kim Laube is also very helpful to the Youth Bureau,
Mhm.
helping some of the programming there with Tracy. So speaking of Lieutenant Spencer, I didn't know he was in the dunk tank, but I did. He did help us with the chief organize a meeting with a company that collects and analyzes traffic data, which could be very, very helpful to the police department with respect to enforcement. We will hopefully have a work session on that, so that
Interested.
everybody can get an update on what we discussed.
Do they use the data off the cameras? Off the
No, so it's actually GPS, and so most of our cars report how fast we're going and how like all the traffic volume and everything, and this company can provide all that information in real time. So like if there's speeding going on a street, they know and they can get there. So it's actually like real time reporting with GPS data, which is encompasses 90% of the cars driving on our roads. So it could be very, very helpful for our traffic safety enforcement efforts. That said, that's for another day, but Legislator Welker and I actually attended yesterday at Tiana Beach. Peconic Estuary Partnership teamed up with the New York Marine Rescue Center to release some turtles, some sea turtles. I held Pepper. And they went back in after being rehabilitated. They went back into the ocean. It was very, very nice. A lot of people showed up. I was actually really impressed with just how many people came out for the turtle release. It was actually
I was at the
amazing.
aquarium yesterday,
Oh, were you?
and they were talking about that.
Yeah, it was part of the PEP's event yesterday. So thank you for going to that,
What was
Bill.
the turtle's name?
Mine that I held was Pepper.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, I just wanted to mention, we heard from Dr. Gobler at the work session about septic improvement, how we can really start putting the pedal to the metal for getting IAs into the ground, educating folks about our various programs, town, county, and state. I've been coordinating with PEP. They're doing a lot of outreach and education, and they're currently talking to our civic groups and our CACs. If you have any particular individuals that you have in mind to have PEP come and join and talk about the programming, let me know. Or I could put you in touch with Rachel Friedman from PEP. She's very helpful. They've scheduled a seminar at the next North Sea CAC meeting to discuss the septic improvement. August, I think.
August? I think
Yeah.
I thought they.
Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe it is September, Bill. I'm
Go
sorry.
with the summertime.
If anybody has any questions about that, call the town council office. We'll let you know. And also, the Agawam Conservancy is also doing some septic improvement information. So Lynn Arthur's now heading that and working with her to try to get everybody all on the same page.
Very good. Yeah, we should do something in response to that presentation. Maybe put a working group together to see where we want to go with that.
Sure. We are getting people the information, so that's happening right now.
Yeah. Very good.
Mhm.
Let's see, I've been meeting with all the department heads about the budget, their requests, and you'll all be hearing about that soon. And yesterday I had the East End Supervisors and Mayors meeting in Riverhead. We were at Jerry and the Mermaid, and it was a good lineup. We had Carrie Meek Gallagher, she's the new CEO for LIPA. She came in. Colonel Alex Young came in from the Army Corps and gave us a FIMP update. And then Sarah Lansdale came in and spoke about a new program for manufactured homes. And the state is getting a contractor to build like 100 of these manufactured homes. They're 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, detached garage for $250,000. So the municipalities can buy them and put them on, town-owned property. And East Hampton said they have a parcel, 7 acres, and they're going to buy 14 of them or 16 of them. Yeah. So it's something maybe she could come here and talk to us about too. Maybe there's some opportunities. So I'll look into that and bring it to us. Bill?
My phone's getting fixed. I don't know what my notes on it, but the highway finished on Bay Avenue in Hampton Bays. The access to the water and the bulkhead and the ramp. Not the ramp, but the steps down to the water. Provide more access to the water for the people. Another project for Hampton Bays.
Nice.
Keep Ray happy.
Yeah. The highway's really doing a great job. Doing lots of sidewalks now.
Yes.
People are happy with that.
Yeah, so Bill, I was going to start with that and thank you for the Springville Road sidewalks that are going in. At first people were like, oh, what are we doing? And now it's just piling up I love it and thank God. And can we put another stop sign on Springville? So, I mean, it's unfortunately with Waze and everything that's happening and Hampton Bays being the bypass, people are speeding down Springville. We need to slow them down. We actually put up stop signs on Bay and King Street.
Where do they want another one?
So they want one on Springville and King.
Okay.
So we already added one down the road. That would be similar to what's on Wakeman by the school. So that would be good. I'll start with the Bridgehampton CAC. I went out to see them on a Monday afternoon, 4 o'clock meeting. I said, boy, nobody ever meets at 4 o'clock. We always meet in the evening. So we spent an hour and a half. We went over a lot of things in Bridgehampton. I kind of got rid of a lot of misconceptions on what was going on and took some information back, spread it out through the departments. But I mentioned it because I got out at 5:20, and I wanted to get to the concert at Ponquag Beach. I got there for the last 3 songs. Took me 2 hours and 20 minutes to get back from Bridgehampton.
It's a nightmare.
So when we talk about traffic mitigation and so on and so forth, it is a big issue that we have. But I'm a sucker. I don't go through these side roads. I stay right on. But it was the last concert of the summer at Ponquag Beach, which is sad because that means the end of summer's coming. But there is a concert tonight at Good Ground Park. It's Country Line Band. It's a good night to get out. It's a beautiful night. Saturday, I went to the Eastport Fire Department barbecue. I actually got to sit with County Executive Ed Romaine for a little while. We did talk about sewers, and he's like, Rick, put the lobster in your mouth and let's. So we're setting a meeting up. So we're going to follow up on some of the things I started to talk to him about. I did go to the other turtle rescue at Ponquag. I did see Ann Welker there. Ryan was there. It was led by the Atlantic Marine Conservation Society. It had a great turnout at Ponquag. It was one turtle. His name was Beetle. I don't know if after the Beatles or a beetle, but we'll find that out maybe from Ryan. We did. Cindy and I, Jackie, went to the East Quogue Village Green improvement. We took the tour of the park to look at some of the things. The park, it's funny how quickly the infrastructure does kind of get old. Like I think of that as a new park, but it does need quite a few improvements. And
it's different when you actually look at it and scrutinize it.
You sit on a couple benches and
see,
say, hey, we need to do something here. And the National Night Out.
I'm pretty sure that Parks put in for new benches for that park. Yeah.
The National Night Out. So I've been going to those for maybe 6 years now, as long as they've been doing it. And what a great setup they had this year. They brought the stage. They had all the Battle of the Bands. The Youth Bureau got involved. Everybody comes out for that. Fire departments making hamburgers and hot dogs. I mean, you could take pictures. You could dunk.
And Southampton Village brought their canine.
Yes, which is always a great
fun.
thing. Yeah, the Hampton Bays Volunteer Ambulance, you could do CPR on their dummy. And
right after you guys left, this Suffolk County helicopter landed on the ball field.
I missed that. I tried to get to the East Quogue concert because I haven't made one all year. It was a reschedule, so I did make it for a little while. But yeah, what a great night. And, anything we can do or anything in the community that we can support like that is always tops on my list.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Good, thank you. Great updates.
One thing I did just think of as far as the building code and the noise goes is I did just read an article in 27 East where East Hampton Village went with tougher restrictions. And OLA actually went to their meeting and asked that they somehow not target the workers, but they target the homeowners. So I think going through the permit process, it's usually the homeowner that holds that building permit. So they're the ones on the line. And that's, I think, fairer because they're the ones demanding that somebody come and do work.
Exactly. Yeah, that's another reason it should go through the
And then they're the ones that get fined for it.
Yeah, good point.
I think we need to hear from the industry too. There's
Yeah.
a lot of issues that we're not even covering here. So.
Yeah.
They'll bring us more issues.
Good to get the conversation started. All right, well, if no one else has any other comments, then I move to go into executive session to discuss acquisitions, personnel, confidential legal advice, and then close the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.